If there is one person in the DFW market that you could choose to learn about business networking from, it is going to be our first presenter. Bill Wallace is the founder of the now 35-year-old Success North Dallas professional group. It is renowned for its ability to bring together the right people for the right reasons at the right time. Success North Dallas has generated tremendous impact throughout Dallas. It's created 108 companies, 170 books from 82 different authors, and, drumroll, 1,300 jobs. Bill's expertise extends well beyond networking, and he is, of course, a best-selling author, certified professional coach, the chairman and CEO of the Wallace Companies. In fact, his book, Being a Catalyst for Success, it delves into all the value of building a strong personal and professional relationship through his concept of net weaving, not networking. It is a different thing. Bill's contributions to education, mentorship, and business excellence have been acknowledged by Northwood University. They awarded him an honorary Doctor of Laws in 2016. So let's just call him Dr. Wallace. His contributions to education, mentorship, and fostering meaningful connections exemplify the power of networking and the impact it can have on both your personal and professional lives. Come on, let's welcome Bill as he gives you all of his insights into net weaving.
Wow. Welcome to the inaugural event of Enterprising Gentlemen. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to share with you. And I'm even more excited when I look at the slate of upcoming speakers today and the knowledge that's going to be transferred, hopefully absorbed, and taken into your life to use. I'm known to be an expert on networking. And I have a talk that I'm going to give you some of the excerpts from called the 3 A's. But these 3 A's of networking can also be applied to the 3 A's of life, the 3 A's of discipleship, and the 3 A's of family. So with that, let's talk about the 3 A's. Let's talk a little bit about life, and let's talk a little bit how enterprising gentlemen can also be extraordinary gentlemen and also become leaders, even more so, not even just in your home, but in your businesses, in your community, and in your faith. So what's the first A? The first A is you have to be accessible. Your family has to find you. They have to be able to find you. The community has to be able to find you. And when they find you, you have to be approachable. So what's approachable? Approachable is when you love on somebody. You make them excited that they are there. Not so much that you are there, but that they are there. And in doing this, you leave a little bit of a hook where they're wondering, well, who is this guy really? And in the approachable, if you think about it like this, love on somebody, and more than likely, they're going to love on you back. Make them feel they're the most important person in the room, not looking over their head to see who else is here, but making right eye to right eye contact. You know, if you were in a networking meeting, I'd say, always wear your name tag on the right side. Because the right eye to right eye is also referred to as the right eye to the heart. So we have accessible, got to be able to find you. Approachable. When I find you, you've got to welcome me in. You've got to make me feel like I'm the most important person, not only in the room, but in the world. You got to love on me. And I'll love on you back. I promise you that. And then the final one is, you've got to be accountable. Accountable, ... to the relationship that begins from the first encounter. And rest assured, my friends, you do not know when that will occur. A good example. I'm coming in to give a talk. I pull into the parking lot. I cut you off. I don't even acknowledge you. I walk in, and the next time you see me, I'm walking out onto the stage to give a talk. You going to listen to me? Or are you going to tell the person sitting next to you, he's not really a very cool guy. I think I'm out of here. Because it's those actions in your home, those actions in your life, those actions outside of the home. And in fact, as somebody would have put it, those actions when you think nobody's looking. Those are the actions that are truly remembered. So you have to be accessible. You got to be able to find you. You have to be approachable. You got to love on the other person. They'll love on you back. And you got to be accountable to those actions that go on every minute, every second of every day of your life. And in the marketplace, in the community, we need a hat hanger. We need something that we're doing outside of the work, outside of the family. That enterprise that puts you out there, that enterprise that further builds that brand of integrity and who you are, that enterprise that helps you to build a legacy. Mine, I don't care if my name's on a building. I don't really want that. I just simply want somebody to say, Wallace's footprints walk through here. But very, very, very simple. So those are the 3 A's. Now, how do we take those 3 A's of networking and how do we take them and turn them in to those 3 A's of life? Well, we're in Texas, and I want you to visualize with me a cattle herd. It's a big oval. And at the top of the herd, out front, you have the trail boss. Side of the herd, both sides, you have the outriders to hold the herd in. And then at the back of the herd, you have the drag to pick up the strays. Now envision this. You change all of those people, all of those cattle in the herd into people. People that you're perhaps competing against. People that you want to do business with you. Why in the world would I ever go into that herd to find somebody to do business with, to find somebody to date, to find somebody to marry, to find somebody to be a counselor or a spiritual guru, when 4 have already separated themselves, 1, 2, 3, 4, from the herd itself? And as you do this separation from the herd, you become another person. You enter into that enterprise of, I'm one of the ones that has set myself apart from the herd. And people see that. And they gravitate toward it to do business, to have social activities, to have life with. That is a huge part of being an enterprising gentleman. As we go through life, we have life events. And I'm going to tell you about a life event that I had. And I want to share this with you because it was a life changer. And this event occurred in 1979 when I was 29 years old. I was smart, cocky, a little arrogant. And I got this letter in the mail. And this letter said, would you help us build a house? Well, I was in the lumber business from 71 to 83. And I took a Sharpie and I wrote a note on it. And I said, if you're crazy enough to ask, I guess I'm crazy enough to say yes. You want to get together and tell me about it. Well, that letter was from a Dr. Dale Fuller. He was head of oncology at Children's Medical Center. And 20 of us came together, and the house was the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas. And as a team, we opened that house debt-free Valentine's of 1981. And that house still stands today in another location. From the few bedrooms we started with, we doubled it in size, debt-free. We doubled it in size again, debt-free. And then a new house was built, 80-plus bedrooms. I was down there doing my thing. I was vice president of community interaction, and I chaired the speakers bureau, and I would go down and play with the kids. I was walking back to my car, and I had tears rolling down my cheeks. And I sat down in my car, and they didn't stop. I started crying. And I realized that that house that I thought they could not build without me was the most self-serving thing I'd ever done in my life. Truly, it was the gas in my tank. And that letter changed my life. And 15 years later, I was giving a talk. Vision, the genesis of making an organization work. There were a few hundred people, and Dr. Maura Schreier Fleming asked me a question at the end. She said, Bill, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? And all of a sudden, I found myself taking a step back and going up to this seventh level of consciousness, looking down at myself on the stage. And I heard myself say that I could, maybe, please have received that letter one day, 1 month, 1 year, 1 lifetime earlier, because that letter truly changed my life. That enterprise I got involved with changed my life. And those enterprises that we do individually, that we do as a family, are those things that change the direction of our life, our children's lives, and our legacy. The brand and the integrity that you build is everlasting, omnipresent, and yours alone. So we have the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas. And then the Addison Rotary Club was looking for something to be a hat hanger, looking for an enterprise, looking for something. And we were in the middle of the AIDS crisis. And they said, you were involved in the Ronald McDonald House, and can you help us find a charity where every dollar will really count? Because we want to start a golf tournament. 20 guys and a couple of gals. It was amazing. So I started looking. And another gentleman, Colin Sanderson, he was looking. And we were scouring it. And somebody said, you need to look at Brian's house. Brian's house? Why would I need to look at Brian's house? It's a home for HIV and AIDS-affected kids. And when I got down to Brian's house, when I got in the car, the tollway in Frankfurt, I didn't know if I was going to come back HIV positive or with full-blown AIDS. But when I got to that house, I knew that it wasn't those kids. Those were our kids. And we started a golf tournament. We had no idea that $25,000 we gave them the first year kept the doors open. We had no idea that after 5 years, we would become 10%, our donation, 10% of their budget. We had no idea. We had no idea what we were getting into. And initially, people did not want to give. So we changed our strategy. We changed our enterprise to that of making Brian's house a household name, knowing that it's not your money, it's your mouths. The mouths that ensure the income stream to that money. And in 3 years, we had them in the placement for the Junior League of Dallas. In 5 years, they were in the top 3, right along with Ronald McDonald House. And in the 6th year, we broke $200,000 net in one day. What are you doing to set yourself apart from the herd? What are you doing to further that enterprise called you, that enterprising gentleman? And so as we move on, these things were life-changing events. Through this, I met my mentor, Herb Kelleher. Southwest Airlines in-flight was cooking at the Ronald McDonald House 2 nights a month. And I asked one of them, Joanne Xavier, if there was a possibility, dreams, oh gosh, I have dreams. If you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream come true? Right out of South Pacific. But do you think he could do a PSA, a public service announcement for us as we're coming into the holiday season? She said, not if you call him Mr. Kelleher. Okay. Well, I was given his phone number. I called up, and Vicki Schuler, their admin, who's still there, answered the phone. And I said, I'm calling regarding the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas. This is Bill Wallace. And I have an idea that I'd like to run by Herb. And let me share with you what that is, and perhaps we can arrange a time to talk. And I shared the idea of doing a PSA, a public service announcement. Said we'd need maybe an hour of his time. We'd have a camera crew and all of that. I hear this voice in the background. You're going to hear, see, feel her writing notes down. Herb was looking over her shoulder. I hear him speak. He said, why don't you just put him on the phone now? I didn't expect that. We got on the phone. He said, yeah, I'd like to do that. I said, well, give me some dates that are good for you, and we'll need about an hour of your time. And he said, well, what dates are good for you? Excuse me? Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I said, Friday, 10 o'clock would work. We'll have a camera crew, and we'll need about an hour of your time. I said, sounds great. Don't worry about a camera crew. Friday comes around. About 9 o'clock, this full-blown camera crew, lights, camera, action, all shows up. About 10 o'clock, Herb shows up. And he produces a PSA. We produce a PSA for the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas that aired all through. And he said, I've already talked to Morrock and Associates, that's their, and the McDonald's PR firm, and they will tag the McDonald's premium ad buys with this PSA. So every time a premium ad airs, or every 3 times, your PSA is going to air. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So a few years into this, we'd gotten to know each other. Oh, by the way, that hour, he and I left at 4 o'clock to go have a drink. He stayed at the house the entire time. Obviously, we developed a friendship, and I developed a friendship with Colleen Barrett, who's number 2, who became the first female CEO, president of an airline in history. And such incredible memories of that. But it changed again my life. And I was introduced to a different form of Dallas, even though I'm a native Dallasite, through the events that we held with the Ronald McDonald House. And through the trains, I helped move the trains from the Galleria to North Park. And the legacy, the enterprises of all of this continue to manifest themselves to this day. So, Roger Meyer, largest Cadillac dealer in the Southwest at that time, was my mentor. And Roger kept saying, you need another mentor. So one day I was over at Southwest Airlines, and I walked into Herb's office, and I said, Roger Meyer tells me I need another mentor. He said, well, what do you think you're going to do about that? He got any ideas? And I said, yeah, I do. You. He looked at me, rolled his chair back, and he said, I guess I'm in trouble, and started laughing and said, we're on. Ask and ye shall receive. Don't ask and you'll never get anything. I was accessible. I was approachable. I was accountable. And I ended up with Herb Kelleher, who in March of 1988 looked at me and said, Wallace, I was in the insurance business. There's 4,553 of you insurance agents out there. When you figure out why I should do business with you, come back. Now get out and figure it out. That was Herb's way. And of course, we talked the next day and the next. But it was at that point in time with that inspiration that goes all the way back to that letter, approachable, accountable, all the way back to that letter, that we started Success North Dallas. I came up with the idea to start a very high-level networking group to set myself apart from the herd in doing this. And in 1988, women were not welcome in networking. And I made the group 30% women from day one. And I was told fellowship was of the masculine gender. I was an idiot. I was wasting my time. And lo and behold, take this to heart, that differentiator. According to the Wall Street Journal, those women were my disruptors, because Herb told me to create transformational change through disruption. Those women were my disruptors that helped me to create transformational change in networking throughout the world, with the U.S. I say the world because I think it has spread, but throughout the U.S. And Success North Dallas worked like a charm. I took people there to meet other people. And they brought people there to meet me. And lo and behold, when I retired from the insurance business 12 years ago, 90% of my business was coming through Success North Dallas. Because I was accessible. People knew where to find me. And when they found me, I loved on them. And lo and behold, they loved on me back. I often say I have the greatest job in the world. I put two people together, I take a step back, and I get to watch the magic happen. What magic is happening in your life? What are those enterprises that are bringing life to your life? You know, I always recommend a book or two. In this case, 3. And the first one is, and I've recommended this book since it was written in every talk I give, The Power of Who by Bob Beaudine. He also wrote 2 Chairs, the greatest book on prayer I've ever read since the Bible. But this Power of Who has a very simple premise. You already have those 12 people in your network. You're who. You just don't know who they are. And it helps you to search out those people that will take you to the next level of your enterprise. And I'm a big one on education. My son got his doctorate in international trade and finance at 25. And now, at 43, he's building the first fully contained electronic recycling plant in the U.S. He's owned several companies. I have another son, an adopted step-grandson who's my son. And he's an assistant manager at a racetrack, involved in a little computer geek store. And he's happy as a lark, too, because I told both of them, I don't care if you're the janitor or the president, if you're happy. Because happiness breeds life. It breathes breath into your life. It breeds success into your life. It brings that next enterprise that is an enterprising gentleman we live for. So what is education? Well, Jim Keyes just came out with a book. Jim is a former CEO of 7-Eleven, Southland, and of Blockbusters. And it's Education is Freedom. And in this book, he talks about the availability of education, the importance of education. And there's a quote out of this book, and I believe it's by Thomas Jefferson. And it says, the cost of education is little compared to the cost of ignorance throughout your life. So it's Education is Freedom by Jim Keyes. And then a dear friend of mine, Talmadge Boston, introduced me to a book that he wrote. And it's not even coming out until April the 2nd, 2024. And that book is How the Best Did It. And it's talking about the 8 greatest presidents we've had and their communication style, how they networked into the marketplace, how they kept their name relevant, the enterprises that they took on. And he's actually written a talk, which he gave at Success North Dallas. First talk he's given on the book, per se. And the talk's title was The Art of Presidential Persuasion. What is your art of persuasion? What is your art of setting yourself apart from the herd? What is your next enterprise? I'm Bill Wallace, and I'm so honored to be here, and I can't wait to hear the speakers that are following me. So let me close this leadoff talk by simply saying, may you do what you love to do, with people you love to do it with, on purpose. Hi, I'm Bill Wallace, founder and chairman emeritus of Success North Dallas, a 35-year-old high-level networking, mentoring, and connecting group. And I'm also senior vice president of MogXP, an experiential event company that ties brands to the public through experiences, from the Charmin bathrooms in Times Square where there are no bathrooms, to the Tide van that went around to all of the disasters, and to the upcoming Final Four. We do events all over the U.S., but I'm also an author, a speaker, and a coach. And I want to tell you just a smattering about my book, Being a Catalyst for Success, The Fulfilling Life of a Servant Leader. And it is an actionable journal of servant leadership. The foreword was written by former Dallas Mayor Tom Leppert, also who is the CEO of largest construction company in the world, Turner, and also the CEO of Kaplan Learning. And I was told one time when I was doing a little promo for my book, just to read. It's only 7 chapters. It's an easy read. It's available in hardback or soft. I know you're going to want the hardback cover, but the chapters are very simple. Netweaving, living and working a good life. Servant leadership, a life you can be proud of. Running a business you can be proud of. Giving back to the community, oh, how important that is. Handling things when it hits the fan. And the final, spirituality, family and friends. And then we close out with words of wisdom. I would be honored to have you go to Amazon and purchase this book and see it on your desk, on your bookshelf, with dog-eared and tattered corners and full of notes. I'm Bill Wallace, and may you do what you love to do, with people you love to do it with, on purpose. God bless and Godspeed.